me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, gotta fill up.
All right, what is going on, everybody? And welcome back to the Juggernaut Show. And as you guys can tell from the title of the video, today I'm here to preview and predict AEW Double or Nothing 2025. But you know what? I'm not alone. I'm here with a special guest. He's been on the channel before. He is the statistician of the IWC. He is the biggest Liv Morgan mark I know. He is none other than Kickin It with Leo. What's
True.
going on, Leo?
Was good. Everything you said has been proven. It's 100% fact.
This is true. This is true. And we're here for another preview show. Like I said,
Yeah.
big weekend of wrestling. I mean, yesterday we did a preview for Saturday night's main event and Battleground. And we're here again.
Yep.
And also Leo, like, what are you looking forward to? What's your level of excitement for Double or Nothing?
Excitement level. Are we talking out of 5? Are we talking out of 10?
Out of 10. Yeah.
I'm gonna say 5. The reason why I feel like some of the matches are gonna be good, but the build to get to these matches hasn't really intrigued me all that much, which is why I'm giving it a 5. I think the match that I would say I'm looking forward to the most is Will Ospreay and Hangman. I think that's the match that I'm looking forward to the most out of all the other matches on the card.
Yeah. I think, I would say my level of excitement for the show, despite some of the build, I would say probably maybe a 7.5. And mainly for the reason because with the main event being Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page, I'm happy that's the main event. I'm happy it's not the Anarchy in the Arena.
Oh Lord, I'm glad
if that was going to be the main event, I was going to be very upset.
That should be starting the show just to get that match over with, please.
Yeah, to be honest, that should be. But yeah, we got a lot of matches to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started with this.
All right.
So the first match that we're going to be talking about is on the buy-in. This match I'm pretty sure got made yesterday during Collision. So we got Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford going up against Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. Now, kind of the story behind this is, so we had Anna Jay. She's been, Megan Bayne. She's been beating both of these women. Both Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. And then also Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, they've been, attacking Anna Jay these recent weeks. And then Harley Cameron, she came in, which I kind of like this pairing of Harley Cameron and Anna Jay, because Harley Cameron, she's like very over the top with her character. And Anna Jay, she's kind of like, her character hasn't been that exciting as of late. But I like this pairing because it kind of brings out more of the excitement with Anna Jay. And also Megan Bayne, I like what she's been doing. They've been making her look really dominant. I mean, even though she, lost to Toni Storm and stuff, she's been looking pretty dominant. So I think they need to keep her looking really good. And I think that Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford need to win this match.
The thing is, I think the match could be interesting. I've been like you said, the pairing between Anna Jay and Harley Cameron has been, somewhat entertaining. And like you said, Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford have been beating up on Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. Now, I didn't really watch too much of Collision and whatnot, so I don't know if they furthered anything between these two, all 4 of these women throughout the show. So I'm gonna say Anna Jay and Harley Cameron get the win on this one. It's not, I don't have a lot of confidence just because, they can go either way with one of these teams winning. And I feel like with the reports that have been being heavily speculated, I would not be surprised if AEW is considering bringing in tag team titles and they continue this feud, and that's potentially where we can crown it some tag team champs for AEW for the women. I mean, that's the only thing I think of. They've been having a lot of tag teams in AEW for the women, so I feel like they could potentially bring some in if that is what's being speculated and that does come to fruition. But I would expect Anna Jay and Harley Cameron to win. I don't think Megan Bain takes the pin though. I think Penelope Ford in this match will take the pin, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, obviously. Like yeah, if Harley Cameron and AJ do win, yeah, definitely Penelope Ford's taking the pin here. And we're probably going to be getting more matches on the buy-in. I wouldn't be surprised because this is the only match we got on the buy-in right now. But yeah, we
Right.
move on to the main card.
All right.
A match that got made last night on
Yeah.
AEW Collision. We have Paragon. Is that how you say
Yes,
this?
Paragon. Paragon.
Paragon going up against the Don Callis family. Now, I don't know too much build behind this match here. I know all these guys are really, great in the ring. This is gonna
Yeah.
be an awesome in the ring match. But to be honest, with the build that's going on with this match, I think that the Don Callis family needs to win here. And maybe Kyle Fletcher, maybe he pins like Adam Cole, and maybe that sets up him to get a TNT title shot.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is gonna be cool, and like it's gonna be cool seeing like maybe Roderick Strong mix it up with Josh Alexander because I don't think they ever touched before. I don't think they ever.
No, not to my knowledge, they have not.
So that'd be cool to see, and then seeing him mix it up with Kyle Fletcher and all that'll be fun. But yeah, I see the Don Callis family winning. What about you?
Well, I do know that this feud has kind of been taking place on Collision, so because for a while I was very confused. Whereas Adam Cole really been, I haven't really been seeing him featured since winning the TNT title and whatnot. But he has been uh on Collision for the most part. I would say they are teasing a story on Collision between, or at least for having at least Adam Cole and Kyle Fletcher face each other. So I do expect the Don Callis family to win and Kyle Fletcher to pin Adam Cole, and that can set up a TNT title opportunity between those two, maybe at the next pay-per-view, which I believe will be All In. So
Mhm.
if they really wanted to, you could put that match on the card because I think that match could really, really be good.
Okay, well we'll move on to the next match. Which this match, okay, despite all this build, I think it's been better than what's been happening. So we got
Mm-hmm.
Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia is going up against FTR. Now the whole story behind this is, FTR, they've been kind of bullying Tony Schiavone as of late. And also Tony Schiavone, to be honest, he should have never opened his mouth like that, on commentary.
Nope.
He should have never done that. And of course, Nigel McGuinness, he wants to stand up for his, commentary partner. Kind of reminds me of what they were doing with, with all the Pat McAfee stuff, with like Gunther and all that. Kind
Mm-hmm.
of reminds me of that a little bit. And also, Daniel Garcia's, he had the awesome match with Dax Hartwood on Collision. That was a really fun match to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like, I like FTR as heels. I think it fits their personality more.
Yeah.
And I like the way they've been doing handling a lot of things. I think it's been cool. And Stokely Hathaway, he kind of like goaded and Nigel McGuinness into taking this match here because he didn't want to take it at first, but he got roped into all the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be a good match. I like. Yeah, I think this is probably one of the biggest matches that Daniel Garcia's is gonna be in. Like that's he's had in a long time,
Right.
which is a good thing. But to be honest, I think that FTR. I think that they need to win here. And also, do we get a return here? Maybe like a returning Adam Copeland. Maybe we
Possibly see that.
see Nigel McGuinness. He's about to get pile drivered on a chair. And then, we have the return of Adam Copeland. Do we see that?
I would think because I think he got taken out. I want to say Revolution.
Dynasty at Dynasty.
Dynasty, so that was in April. So yeah, we're about a month out, and I think they want to build towards All In. They don't really have another pay per view after this, so I feel like they would bring him in here. Um, this has been taking place a lot on Collision. It's 50-50 because either one of these teams can win, only because there's different factors for each. One, I feel like FTR could win just for the simple fact that they just turned heel and they need a win to establish this character and this new iteration of them to be taken seriously. But then on the flip side, Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia have been literally getting beat by FTR week after week. They've been left laying and all of that. So it's 50-50. I would love to see Nigel and Daniel Garcia to win here, but I feel like FTR are probably going to get the win here. I'm going to go FTR on this one.
Okay. All right. And then, went too far. And the next match we have it's going to be the first ever stretcher match in AEW history. We got Mark Briscoe going up against the Ricochet. And the whole it's kind of funny, the way they've been like kind of like booking Ricochet, kind of like as this very prick like heel, and like
Yeah.
he's been very corny in a way, which
But
it's funny the way they've been booking him. And both these guys, they were in that match for that how much was that purse, or like how much was
100,000?
Or it was something like that. I don't exactly remember. Maybe it was like 400 something. I don't exactly remember. But yeah, the face team ended up winning that. Ricochet, he got really pissed about that. And of course, Ricochet, he's been using scissors a lot in his matches, to take advantage of his opponents. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good match. Like I said, despite all the build for this, because there's really none to this at all.
Well, there technically is kind of a build to it. I mean, it might not be much. I think Mark Briscoe was the first person to defeat Ricochet in AEW.
Yeah.
I think his first loss was to Mark Briscoe, and then last time that they faced, I think Mark beat Ricochet. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say Ricochet's winning this one. Ricochet
and also Ricochet, he hasn't won a pay-per-view match since coming to AEW. He hasn't won a pay-per-view match. I think this
wasn't.
Yeah. Because he lost that Dynasty. And then
that was with Omega, wasn't it?
Yeah, Omega and Mike Bailey. He lost there. And then I can't remember who he was with at Revolution.
I don't think he was on that card.
Yeah, but yeah,
he was on the card yet.
Yeah, he hasn't won a pay-per-view match since coming to AEW.
I think it was Swerve, because he faced Swerve on the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, I believe that was Swerve at I could be wrong. There's just so many AEW pay-per-views that they just sometimes get lost in the shuffle. But yeah, this match is going to be crazy. Maybe we're going to see a lot of spots like on the stretcher. Maybe we even see a stretcher get thrown off the stage. Maybe we'll see Mark Briscoe try to do an elbow drop onto the stretcher. I mean, this is going to be some crazy stuff that they do in this match. But ultimately, Ricochet needs to get the win here. He needs to win.
I would agree that, and I feel like the stretcher match, I think that's just another way of saying maybe ambulance match. Maybe they don't want to say ambulance match because people are going to say, oh, you're copying WWE. So maybe they added their own little spin on things and stuff like that. Because that would kind of be crazy for a stipulation just to be putting an opponent on a stretcher. So I think it's safe to say this is probably going to be their version of an ambulance match, where we're going to have an ambulance match and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. And who'd you pick again? You picked Ricochet?
Yeah. Ricochet, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Next match we have here is the AEW Continental Championship on the line. We got Okada defending the title against Speedball Mike Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
And from an in-ring standpoint, this is going to be a hard-hitting match.
Agreed.
Like Mike Bailey, he always brings like 110% in the ring. He's always
every single time.
Like you can't be sleeping against Mike Bailey, because if you do, he's gonna make you pay. Make you pay. And I like what Okada's been doing, like his character, his character work. How he calls everybody bitch and all that.
That's really his character right there. Just him saying that. That's really his character.
hmm And also, to be honest, like some of his matches, he hasn't been like, like he hasn't been going like that. Um, like what he used to do in New Japan. He's kind of like slowed
Yeah.
it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this match is gonna be really good here. But Okada's gonna retain. He's not losing title here. Because I think the ultimate goal is for them to get to Okada and Omega at AEW All in Texas. Like do like a unification match.
Yeah. I do think the match will be really good. I think these two can probably put on an amazing match. I think the chemistry that they can have is really good as well. I expect to be some near falls throughout the match where it looks like Speedball might actually get the upset win. But I do think Okada is going to retain the title here. I mean, there's been times where I thought Okada would lose or he could have lost, but that was never the case. I I do think that, like you said, the ultimate end goal is to have Okada and Omega at All In this year, and that being for both titles, and then we unify those, maybe call it the AEW Intercontinental title. I don't know what they would call it. Um, but at once we get that match, I do think Okada will finally lose, and then Omega will unify those titles.
hmm
So I'm gonna go Okada to retain here.
All right. And then the next match we have is we got the Hurt Syndicate. We hurt people.
We
Yeah,
hurt people.
going up against the Sons of Texas, which is Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, which they are holding a lot of ROH championships right now.
Well, mainly Dustin because he's six-man tag team champion and actual tag team champion with Guevara. Because I think
Yeah,
the Von Erichs and him are six-man tag team champions. So
yeah.
yeah,
He's trying to become a belt collector over there in Ring of Honor. How old is he? Like 50, 57 years old, something like
I
that.
can actually check
Yeah,
that.
yeah, because he's up there in age. Like, why are you getting all these titles, Dustin Rhodes?
I mean, you want to keep him happy. He's been there since the initial start of everything. So
I mean, this is true. And then this Hurt Syndicate, they've been tied up things with MJF.
MJF
They finally added MJF into the Hurt Syndicate this week. They did that
56.
56. Okay, I was off by 1 year. But yeah, they did the whole stuff with MJF. Finally being in the contract signing
Mm-hmm.
into the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of confused, like what like the whole what the whole goal is, like with adding him into the Hurt Syndicate. I mean, yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. But yeah, this matcher, I think it's gonna be a good match. But we know that the Hurt Syndicate are not losing their titles here.
They're not.
And,
There's no way they're gonna lose. I'm sorry.
and
And they
then also
plus they just
Dustin
won.
Rhodes, that promo that he did on Dynamite this past week was very hilarious.
Yeah,
Like
it was
he
hilarious.
just
Yeah.
he kind of kept just repeating himself. Like yo, Dustin, your mic skills are not as good as they used to be. But I mean, his in ring work has been actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But his mic
And
skills, like,
and the
not.
fact is, when you look at that segment, like Dustin was saying everything. Sammy was just standing there. He didn't say anything. They didn't give him the mic or anything.
And also Sammy Guevara, why you be wearing a suit also? Like, well, why you wearing a suit right now?
Maybe he's trying to change his image.
Trying to change. I mean, he's actually been doing that for a while now. I mean, maybe Cody told him to wear a suit, so he's being a mark. He's like, okay, I'll wear a suit. Maybe he wants to be a part of the Hurt Syndicate. That's what he wants
Maybe
to
he
be.
does, but
He wants to be in the Hurt
um,
Syndicate.
there. I mean, I know we just seen MJF, sign to the Hurt Syndicate, but for some reason, I don't think. I think we're gonna get some not some shenanigans where it looked like they can kind of cause a little bit of rift just for the time being,
hmm
because I feel as if we're gonna see probably Cedric show up here. I
Hmm.
think Cedric will show up, and we find out that the Hurt Syndicate were playing MJF all along, where they were just making him think that he was in the Hurt Syndicate, and then maybe after the match or whatever, they jump him out,
Yeah.
and then we
Ah,
bring in Cedric at the same time. Because I could have sworn before I haven't seen Dustin Rhodes in quite some time. So when I heard the music, I was thinking that was probably Cedric for a minute. So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe we'll see him at Double or Nothing because it's been speculated that he's supposed to be showing up in AEW anyways. Why not bring him here on a big stage like Double or Nothing, which I think a lot of people will be watching and be tuned in and be looking forward to see what happens next coming out of Double or Nothing if we do see Cedric show up. And then what does it mean for MJF? How does he feel about how he would respond? Well, we get an MJF and Bobby Lashley feud, which I think could be really interesting. Will he go through the other members of the Hurt Syndicate on his path to getting to Bobby Lashley? What if that is the route that we could be telling? So if they were to go that route, I think it could create for some interesting television, but at the same time, it's going to make feel like everything we've been building up until this point seem a little bit pointless in the grand scheme of things, because like he's been buying his way into getting in here, and then for him to just to do that, and then the same week he gets turned on, that would be shocking. But I think it can work at the same time depending on how they go about it.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, like regardless of her syndicate, yeah, they're gonna be retaining here, and yeah, we'll move on to the next match,
Oh
which we
Lord.
have is the Anarchy in the Arena. So we got Kenny Omega, Willow Nightingale, Swerve Strickland, and the Ops going up against the Death Riders, and and the Young Bucks. Yeah, this is gonna be this match is gonna be full with fuckery.
Yeah.
And this match is completely a clusterfuck right here because the
Gabe Kidd's
way
gonna show up.
the way this got built up has been like all over the map, you know.
Yeah.
So we had the Young Bucks, they returned at AEW Dynasty. They cost us Swerve the match. So
Right.
Swerve, he's been wanting to go after the Young Bucks for a while. And of course, Kenny Omega, he doesn't trust the Young Bucks now. He's after the way the way they've been acting, and of course, Samoa Joe, he's had a problem with the Death Riders. So we got a lot of things intertwined, and then
Yeah.
you add Will Nightingale into this, because she's been getting bullied by Marina Shafir, which. Yeah, this is gonna be like I said. All shit's gonna hit the fan here in this match. It's gonna be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be crazy. And also
Yeah.
Gabe Kidd, he
He's gonna
showed up.
show up.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna get Gabe Kidd here. Maybe do we get like a returning Darby Allen? I don't know, because it takes a while to get down from. I think it takes like 3 to 7 days to get down from uh Mount Everest. So and it takes a little while. It takes a little while to get down from there. So I don't know if we get Darby Allen here. Maybe do we get maybe like a returning Brian Danielson, or maybe like a I don't know, maybe Eddie Kingston, because Eddie Kingston got taken out by it was by Gabe
The Young
Kidd.
Bucks. Young
It's
Bucks.
by was it the Young Bucks?
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah,
remember when he lost the Continental title to Okada,
yeah,
Young Bucks were heavily involved in that.
yeah. So do we have Eddie Kingston showing up? I don't know. I mean, there's just gonna be a lot of crazy things going on in this match. Gonna be a lot of spots.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm gonna be all here for it. And also, I wonder what Shibata, this doesn't fit his type of style of wrestling, so it's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting to see what he does. And also, I want to see Willow Nightingale hitting power bombs. Like, I want to see her hitting
Oh,
power
you've seen
bombs
her
on.
we know what Willow Nightingale can do when she's in a scenario like this. We've seen the match that she had with Chris Statlander, which was really, really good in that match that they had a couple months ago when they were going to the extreme, those two women. So we know
Mhm.
Willow can really go in a scenario like this. And I hope Willow just literally pounces on Marina Shafir. Literally. Like
Like,
puts
I
her
want
down.
to see her. I want to see her putting the power bomb onto Wheeler Yuta, even
Look
John
at John
Moxley.
Moxley.
John
No,
Moxley.
John Moxley got a receipt coming. He has a
Yeah.
receipt because he literally hit a paradigm shift on none other than Willow Nightingale, if we remember. So he got a receipt coming. I expect Willow to get her comeuppance on John Moxley in this. It'll be kind of funny if Willow pins John Moxley in this match. I don't think that's how that goes, but I feel as if Death Riders and Young Bucks were kind of standing tall
Hmm.
on AEW. So I think Kenny, Willow on the option Swerve will get the win here. I do expect Gabe Kidd to show up, and I know you were making a lot of names to show up. Eddie Kingston would really be cool to see because he had some history with John Moxley and stuff like that. Depending on where they go with that feud, if they do decide to jump right back in there, I don't see it being on the pay-per-view only because we know that whoever wins the Owen Cup matches are going to compete for the title at All In. So from when you get through with Double or Nothing, you're on to All In. So it's like, where would he realistically fit in all of that? Unless they're going to do it on a Dynamite, which is possible because me personally, I thought they were going to do Samoa Joe and Moxley at Double or Nothing for the World Championship, which I thought would have been very, very cool and interesting to have. But for us to have Anarchy in the Arena, and now people know I don't have a problem with Anarchy in the Arena. It's just I don't think it needs to be every single year just for the sake of putting talent in the match. It's almost like War Games in a sense. Like some of the matches that we get at War Games don't necessarily need to be in War Games. Like we look at last year's, the women didn't need a War Games match. That honestly could have been a 5-on-5 elimination style type of match, like your traditional Survivor Series matches, and you could have just did the men's in War Games. Not every match needed to be in the War Games just because that's what the branding is. So that's my big tidbit on Anarchy, but I do expect Kenny, Willow, Swerve, and the Ops to get the win. And like I said, Gabe Kidd probably will get involved, and I do think we probably will get a returning Hook in this match because Hook was taken out by them. So I think Hook comes back and he
Hmm.
probably evens the odds and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go with Kenny, Willow, Swerve, and the Ops to get the win here.
So now, since the baby faces they got the win this past week on Dynamite, I kind of been going,
Mm,
I kind of been
I
going back
forgot
and
about
forth.
that.
I kind of been going back and forth, like on who I think's gonna win. But since the baby faces they got the win this past week on Dynamite, I think that the Death Riders and the Young Bucks are gonna win. To be honest, but my prediction could change, before Sunday and stuff. But
Yeah.
as of right now, I'm gonna go with the Death Riders and Young Bucks to win here. Also to
And it can go
make
either
it
way,
interesting.
like you said. It can go either way. The only thing I think that would make sense for them to lose is we know that the title is not on the line. So if the title was on the line, then I would say yeah. And plus we got that backstage fight to close the show. So that's why I consider the Death Riders and Young Bucks losing because they did stand tall a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, right now I'm gonna go with the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. So moving on, we got the AEW Women's Championship on the line. We got Timeless Tony Storm defending the title against Mina Shirakawa.
You got me
Listen,
and Brittany.
AEW, listen. Please stop doing all these eliminator matches to like
Please.
set up a feud. Please stop. Like, I mean, they're cool and all once in a while, but like every single time, I mean, Tony
No.
Storm is like past few weeks, she's been in, fatal four matches and eliminator matches,
I've been winning them all.
winning them all. Except, she finally got me and the Shirakawa finally got one on Tony Storm. She hit that roll up and the devastating roll up on her, and that's how she got this match here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is gonna be. I mean, we know both these girls can go, really good in the ring together. Also, timeless Tony Storm. She's probably. She's probably one of the best women wrestlers, in all of professional wrestling as of right now, like
Mm-hmm.
with her character work and in ring style. Like, I just
Yeah.
love what she's doing. But Tony
Yeah.
Storm, she's not losing the title here. She's gonna
Mm-mm.
be retaining. So yeah, give
I
me Tony
agree.
Storm.
I agree. And like you said with the elimination style matches, and we know that Mina just signed to AEW, and I feel like if you want to make that a big deal, why not put her in the title picture? But like, why would you put her in the world title picture when we know she's not gonna get a win over timeless Tony Storm. We know that AEW doesn't. I feel like me personally don't have a lot of confidence in Mina when you want to be honest, be outside of Tony Storm, she's probably one of the most over in the company. Like when you had
Mhm.
Mariah May, it was Mariah May as well, Mina, but like we already know it's possibility Mariah might be on her way out of AEW and everything like that, heading over to NXT. And I know, they have a partnership. They're always best friends. I would have preferred if you would have just had Mina and Mariah go to NXT together and let them two go over there. But I do think the match will be really good. We might get some close near falls throughout the match as well. But we know what we're building to, which is Tony Storm and Mercedes at All In. That is the match they want. So, yeah, unfortunately, as much as we say we want Mina, and we do, we love some Mina, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case this Sunday when it's all on the line and she's going for that title.
Mhm. All right. And then the next match we have is the women's Owen Hart Cup tournament finals. We
Mm-hmm.
got the TBS champion and also the New Japan Strong Women's champion, Mercedes Moné, the CEO, going up against Jamie Hayter. Oh man, I'm looking forward to this a lot. Say what you will about Mercedes Moné, but hey, I'm a big Mercedes mark. I love me some Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's been booked really really strong. Like a lot of women can't beat her. Um, this match can go either way because like Jamie Hayter, after coming back from her injury, she wants to prove a point. That she can still go, and she wants to
Mm-hmm.
get that women's championship. But to be honest, I just don't. She's just gonna
And
be running.
the
Go
thing
ahead.
is with Jamie is like Jamie never lost the title. She had to give up the title, if you remember.
Hmm.
So you could have that callback, but like you said, Mercedes is being built up as an unstoppable force in AEW. No one can beat her. She's always two steps ahead of her opponents every single time. Whatever they're thinking, she's thinking there of the next move that they're going to try to do. Like she's very calculated in that ring, and her IQ is pretty much unmatched. I will say that when it comes to her surroundings and being aware of what's going on in the ring. Um, like you said, I both women could easily win this, and I don't think people will really be upset. But I think you've been telling this story between Mercedes and Tony for months. You've been telling it between these two. I think since Mercedes honestly came into AEW, people were telling that story and wanting that match. I think that is the biggest match you can honestly put on for AEW All In. So I'm gonna say Mercedes will get the win here.
Yeah, and like you said, like the ultimate goal, is them, Mercedes and Tony Storm at AEW All In Texas. Which, to be
Mhm.
honest, I wish it was going to be Mercedes and Athena, but they really fucked that one up because
Yeah,
I
they
thought.
kind of did that a little bit too early. I would have wished they were on two separate brackets and let them
Mhm,
two go at each other. And then I think this would have been a great match between these two. I mean, the match that they did have on Diamond was great.
mhm.
So yeah, but I do think I think Jamie Hayter is doing great. I think the way they brought back her back was kind of questionable because you brought her back in during the buy-in when you could have brought her back on the main show. So it's a hit or miss type of situation, but I think the match overall was going to be really, really entertaining from start to finish. They're definitely going to have some really interesting storytelling that they're going to tell throughout the match. The work that they're going to put in on the in-ring aspect of things is going to be really good. The promo segment that they had with each other was really good as well. We've been seeing a couple backstage interactions and a couple beatdowns and stuff like that, where the security people have to come out there and literally get them, separate them, and all that. But I think overall, I think Mercedes is going to get the win here, and she's going to move on to All In.
Yeah. Okay. All right, and then the main event, we got the men's tournament finals in the Owen Hart Cup. We got Will Ospreay going up against Hangman and Adam Page. And let me tell you this: that
Segment.
promo, that
Oh,
that segment that they did, Oh my god, that
That
was
was
it.
one of the best promos I've ever seen.
And
Like,
like the intensity from both of those guys, Will Ospreay said that he wants it, but Hangman, he was saying that he needs it, after the year that he had, and
hmm
after these past few years with him, going down this dark path, the long feud with Swerve
Swerve.
Strickland.
hmm
Yeah, I mean, this match is in their match can go either way here.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I would not mind either guy winning. Um, I'm gonna say that Hangman. I'm gonna say that Hangman and Page wins. Yeah, because I like this redemption arc that they're doing with him. Yeah,
Yeah. I do like the redemption arc. And then like you said, they were, throwing shots at each other when Heyman pretty much told him, like you say you want this, but I need to win this with this. And he brought his family into the equation. Will Ospreay even brought his kid at home in the equation as well. So there's a lot riding in on this match. But I think the story that we're telling here is Hangman's redemption story, like you said, right? Where he has to forgive himself for the things that he's done and hope that the people that he's wronged forgives him as well. That is the story that we're telling with Hangman, and I think that's the narrative that we're going to continue to tell. Would that be cool with him potentially getting the moment at All In and winning the world title? Yeah, because I feel like his first reign wasn't all that good. It really wasn't. I feel like they could have done way more than they had him lose to Punk and everything like that. But this would be a really interesting character arc for him to go through everything he's did and then now to, win this match and secure himself another world championship opportunity. But I'm going Will Ospreay on this one. I feel like Will Ospreay has put himself in the position to where he's looked at as the top guy in AEW. And
mhm.
when you had the tournament, be announced, he was the first person that threw his name in the hat. He was the first person to throw his name in the hat. And then we also know um, that he says he wants to beat John Moxley. Now, also, they also brought up their records with John Moxley as well. We know that Hangman has beaten John Moxley, and I think that was a Texas death match. He's beaten John Moxley. But for Will Ospreay, he is 0-2 on John Moxley. I think this is his way of getting through um Hangman Adam Page, because he said in the promo that if I can beat you, then I know I can beat John Moxley. If he can beat Hangman Adam Page, he wants to remove that doubt and that it's in the back of his mind that he can't stand toe to toe with John Moxley and beat him. He still has that fear that he's trying to overcome of winning with John Moxley, and then they still have teased them potentially being in each other's corners going up against the Death Riders, because we know when it comes down to whoever's going after that world championship, John Moxley would do anything and everything to retain time and time again. This is almost as if we're seeing the reign of terror with Triple H all over again. Nobody can get that championship because he was always cheated, using anything and everything to his advantage to get the upper hand and get the win every single time. And this is what we're seeing with the Death Riders. I do think Will Ospreay gets the win, and this is way we can have Hangman have the first step of many of getting back on the good graces within the side of AEW.
You know what? I think you kind of persuaded me there because, like, you mentioned like with Will Ospreay, he hasn't beat John Moxley. He's 0-2 against him. But
Mm-hmm.
Adam Page, he's beat him, in that death match, and he wants that Hangman Adam Page that was very ruthless, very he did anything to win. He wants that. He wants to see that Hangman Adam Page.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, actually, I think that Will Ospreay is going to pick up the victory. Yeah.
Because you got to think, I feel like, not saying that Hangman, Adam Page, and John Moxley won't be good, but I just feel we've seen that feud and we've seen that. I think this would be really cool to see Will Ospreay go against John Moxley for that world title and being the one to take that title. I know Wolf won't be happy about it because he wants it to be Darby, but I think Darby and Moxley don't need the title to have that feud. That can be strictly a blood feud 1-on-1 non-title. I do have Will Ospreay getting the win here and him going on. Early predictions for All In. Will Ospreay becomes your new AEW World Champion.
Well, there you go. So
And
that
Darby
was
turns.
mhm. So that was our AEW. Sorry, I can't talk right now.
AEW.
AEW Double or Nothing 2025 predictions. Leo, let everybody know how they can keep up with you.
Yeah, so my channel is Kicking It with Leo, you guys. I do wrestling content. More content will be on the way. I've been doing a lot of videos this week. I recently collabed with Rated M Wrestling, so you go watch my interview with him over there. We've been doing a lot of content this week. We did Raw this week. We did NXT. We've done AEW. Then last night we did the preview and predictions for Saturday Night Main Event and NXT Battleground with myself, Byron from the Flex Zone podcast, and Jugs as well. We did that last night, and we're doing AEW tonight and everything like that. And we also have SmackDown tonight. We have SmackDown tonight. We're going to be going live in literally less than 2 hours for SmackDown, so y'all stay tuned for that. We will be streaming that. And then tomorrow we got Saturday Night Main Events, which will be streaming as well. So y'all can kick it with me on YouTube and Twitch, because I will be streaming on YouTube and Twitch as usual. And then on Sunday, we have none other than AEW Double or Nothing. And we also have NXT Battleground as well. So a jam-packed weekend of wrestling. You guys do not want to miss it. You guys need to stay locked and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 2,000. We're trying to get to that 10,000 milestone by the end of 2025. So if you guys are a wrestling fan, this is the channel for you. And we also will be doing reviews for these shows this weekend as well. I know Sunday we will be recapping Saturday Night Main Event. So y'all stay tuned for that. And then on Sunday, we will be, like I said, we're going to be streaming. And then maybe Monday, we'll probably recap everything from Double or Nothing. And then maybe NXT Battleground as well, plus Raw. So it's a jam-packed, like I said, we're on the road to Money in the Bank. We're on the road to SummerSlam and everything like that. So you guys need to lock in.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely go subscribe to Kicking It with Leo. The link for his channel is down in the description below. And also, while you're here on my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm also on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Ultimate goal is 10K.
Mm-hmm.
And so definitely hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that like button to help out my videos in the algorithm. And also, don't forget to turn on that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video. And also, go follow me on my social media platforms. Go follow me on X and Instagram at the True JSB.
Mm-hmm.
And also be sure to go subscribe to the Flex Zone podcast, where we'll be streaming, of course, after this, we'll be streaming SmackDown tonight. And then tomorrow we'll be streaming Saturday night's Main Event. And then we'll be also, like Leo said, we'll be doing a review of Saturday night's Main Event on Sunday. And then we got the Double or Nothing watch along as well as Battleground. So much wrestling, we're basically consumed of wrestling. That's what we are. That's what it is. That's what it is. So as it goes for Kicking It with Leo and Juggernaut, we are going to say peace out, and we'll see you guys later on.